This afternoon we're talking with Jeff Babienko of Babienko Architects. Jeff is an award-winning architect who founded Babienko Architects in 2010. Jeff is a licensed architect in both the state of New York and Washington State. He's completed numerous projects over the years in the Pacific Northwest and as well as the East Coast. Jeff, it's a privilege and honor to be sitting with you.
Me too as well.
If you don't mind, I'd like to just jump right in and start talking about residential design.
That'd be great.
Okay, so Jeff, a lot of the people watching this video are going to be having questions about just why do I need an architect? Can you tell us a good reason for that?
So an architect who's familiar with design and construction is going to add a tremendous value to the project, both through experience of what works and doesn't work from a design side as well as from practicality. An architect is going to bring a unique kind of view to the project and help decipher and filter information.
Okay.
One of the key things that an architect can do is translate your design goals as a client into actual understandable design pieces within a project.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, just imagine that there's someone sitting out there who has been dreaming of having a home custom built, something that really reflects their unique style, their goals for the future, and they're thinking, okay, I'm going to hire an architect. Help them to understand what are the kinds of stumbling blocks and challenges that can be avoided by hiring an architect. What are maybe some of those things that you just don't expect because you haven't done it before?
So I think benefit from working with an architect and helping to avoid kind of surprises is one of the biggest things that is beneficial to engaging a team or a group of individuals to help support your project from a residential side. I think a proper design process really starts with understanding what your goals and needs are, and I think that's going to establish a good program, a good scope of work, so that as you move through a design process, you can understand, am I making decisions that are going to be beyond what I'm willing to pay from a construction standpoint? Is this beyond my budget and what I'm actually looking to accomplish within my project? The architect will also then give you the ability to make decisions and know that there's alternatives to every material, every space, every kind of design. There's options that could be vetted and a value placed on them within your project, whether it's something as small as a simple bathroom layout to a kitchen to a whole house design. The opportunities and the research that's done within the design will give you access to elements and ideas that you may not have thought of in your just like, oh, I want to build a house. It'll give you opportunity to understand, in the design process, it'll give you the ability to understand, like, okay, is there things for views I want to capture? That's always an important aspect with any home construction. Is there something I want to focus on? Is there a view of the lake, of a tree, of the mountain that I want to capture? But just as important to that, the architect will also then go, is there something you don't want to see?
Yeah.
You don't want to see your neighbor's house. No, that's important, because then some things that people just cloud over. It's like something as mundane as that, but that's an important aspect. Also maintaining, there's decisions that can be made within the design process early on that can help, you down the line and kind of give you flexibility in your decisions for materials.
Okay.
Am I situating the house or positioning the house that is not going to lend itself to a certain roof configuration, because it's I'm shading the sun incorrectly, or I'm not capturing the wind properly. So I think there's an ability from an architect and an architect's team to give you, the full range and the opportunity to understand that each decision is thoughtfully planned out and that there's some reasoning behind it.
Oh, what a great bit of information. Okay, so my next question has to do with building techniques. So there's a lot of talk nowadays about new techniques coming into the construction industry. Are you able to share how an architect can implement new products and new technologies to really help the person who's having their home custom designed?
So, yes, because one of the things that is important within any building is the building science behind it. It's within our office and many offices, understanding new materials and what their benefits and drawbacks are is very important to any, building project. You use the example of off-gassing within paint material. Understanding that, okay, if I'm going to go with a water-based paint, that's not going to off-gas. It's going to be, I can finish painting a room and walk into that room right away. If I'm using an oil-based paint or some other solvent-based paint, there's going to be an off-gassing process that's going to be harmful or detrimental to just the living condition. Certain types of synthetic products, what are they going to do to the actual living space?
Right.
So also within that is the building science of early on. There's two ways to look at it. Is there the active strategies that can be employed within single-family residential construction, or passive strategies within building science, to apply to a single-family residence. The passive strategies are like what we talked about earlier, is just positioning of the house, which way it's oriented. Is it going to capture the wind? Is it going to shade properly so that you avoid overheating conditions? Those are all just simple design strategies that an architect's going to employ and bring to the table in the design. From the active side, there's all sorts of different strategies on energy management. How am I going to, am I going to introduce a solar array or PV strategies into the house to generate my own electricity? Am I going to go geothermal? Am I going to employ other strategies for heating my hot water?
You've done projects on both coasts, and I'm just wondering, I don't think that's probably all that common. Does that give you additional insight that you can offer your clients?
It does. I would offer that working in a number of jurisdictions and in different venues gives you a unique perspective on what is important in that region, but also what are the different strategies and things that are crucial to the environment you're working in. So working in the East Coast, working in greater New York City, there's not a lot of single-family new construction that's being done. You're looking at brownstones.
Right.
Well, within a brownstone, you know what the dimensions are going to be, but there's opportunities in how am I going to maximize storage?
Right.
How am I going to maximize space, knowing that I'm set with a specific dimension?
Get creative.
It does. It really forces you to be creative, and then you can employ those. When you work on a different coast, and on the West Coast, you can look at how do I employ those same efficient design strategies that were done on the East Coast and bring them out here.
I like it.
And then when you have a ground-up construction, you know that it works in a small space. It can work in a small space here. It can work in a big space here. And they cross-pollinate each other really well, and just in terms of having a unique perspective to inform the design process.
Yeah, that's helpful. Now, to get the house built, I've hired the architect. You're walking me through all these great things, keeping me from misstepping. But at some point, I need a builder. Is that something that the architect would help with, selecting a custom home builder, or am I on my own with that?
So there's multiple ways to pursue that. In our office is a firm believer in the construction administration process, where we take the client from the initial pre-design through the design development, construction documentation, and then construction administration, where we are working hand in hand with the homeowner and the contractor and helping that selection process.
Okay.
So that we can work with and select a construction team that's appropriate for the project and appropriate from the builder for the home. So it can give us whether we're looking at a high-end construction project, something that's mid-range, or something that's going to be economical. We can make sure that we're bringing the right builder to the table. We have a number of builders that we have worked with that help us guide that process. And yes, it's our expectation that we work with the homeowner through that, select it with them, so that they are confident in their selection of who's going to build their home. Because that's one of the things that's really important within any single-family residential construction project, is the trust with the builder. It's someone's house that you're building. And so you as a homeowner need to have a comfort level with that contractor. So we bring contractors that we have good relationships with, that we know can do the work in an efficient, effective manner, going to show up and that are willing to, be open book in terms of their pricing strategies, so that we know that there's a value to the project. So that you're not seeing inflated costs, you're not seeing extended schedules, you're not seeing all sorts of different kind of nightmare stories that you hear of, so that as you move through the project and through the construction, you're going to be happy with it.
Excellent. Okay, Jeff, while I was getting ready for the interview, I'm exploring around your Facebook page, and I saw something that just totally caught my eye. A giant crane lowering a shipping container swimming pool into a house. You got to tell me the story on that. A shipping container swimming pool. Where'd that come from?
It's a super fun project. Young professional couple with two children, and we were just doing a simple addition to the house. And one of the things that was part of the initial program requirements for them was they wanted a lap pool.
Okay.
They didn't want to dig super deep and do a full swimming pool, but they wanted a lap pool, something bigger than a hot tub. And so in our initial design for the house, we came up with the strategy of like, okay, we're doing this addition, we came up with a big deck on the back of it, and then we come up with a pool design that was essentially cut out of concrete. It was going to be a concrete lap pool essentially. And the homeowner, in his time, researched it and found a manufacturer up in Canada for shipping container swimming pools.
Wow.
With a built-in window. It's a self-contained unit with its own heating system, plumbing system, with a cover and everything. So we scrapped the concrete pool, looked at how to do this, and had to work very carefully with the homeowner, because it was an off-the-shelf, first time it had been done in Washington, getting it down from Canada. And then we had to work with City of Seattle Department of Transportation, because first thing they asked is like,
what?
You want to close down the street for what? You're like, we're going to crane a pool in. There was that. Then we also had to work with City Light, because City Light also had a number of questions on, what you want us to take down power lines for, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too big, can't do it. So we had to work with them and come up with strategies on how to make it work and get the crane in a position on the property to get it past the power lines to get it in. And then, literally it showed up, one morning, and by midday it was in and installed, and that evening it was functioning.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a very straightforward process. It was super fun. They love it. They've been working through it. I've got pictures of them in last year's snowstorm. They just retracted the cover and jumped in the pool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Walked out the back deck. So it's been very fun. The kids love it because it's still size and deep enough for small children to, swim in. And for the parents, it's just, an easy little lap pool that they can lounge in and have a cocktail.
So it just shows that if you want something special, you got to have it custom designed. That's the only way you're getting a lap pool in your house.
Yep. It was a interesting proposition when they first came to us with it. We were lucky to find something that was economical in terms of, in this case, because that's what actually was one of the benefits of it. It's like, okay, it's already a pre-established, pre-functioning unit. There was some challenges to it from a functioning standpoint, but it's been nothing but a success.
Great story. Well, hey, I want to thank you for your time. Keep up the great work, and look forward to talking to you more.
Talk to you soon.